all day long listening to yourself and what you're actually telling yourself in your mind and trying to catch those thoughts as they come to you and switching it around if it's negative right away into something that's positive is so important. And so, that's what I've learned. It's like, yes, we are actually programmed from, way back when we were little, as babies coming through, and we could have heard lots of negative things, right, about us, and it's ingrained in here. But being able to turn that around.
Hello, Pamela. How are you doing?
Hello, yeah, you're doing great. It's a great Thursday, right?
Amazing. Great Thursday for sure. Great Thursday, great every day. I say the fact that we woke up in the morning, we have that privilege, and from there to push forward. To talking about having the privilege of waking up, each one of us, through our life that we woke up every day, so we create our story. And I believe that each story, has its own impact and can help. Your story can for 1,000% help other people, even if someone think it doesn't. For sure, it could. And what's beautiful about what you do, and you'll share more in a second, that you help businesses, you help real estate, realtors, share their story, build their brand. That way, they could bring more of their value. And I believe it's all around that value. In the story, there's a value, and you basically you put it out there for everyone. That way, everyone could get from that value through branding, their story. But if you could first share with your story, number one, and then number two, I would also love to understand why you think personal branding is so important, sharing our story is so important.
Oh, wow. Okay, first, okay, that's a lot. First, my story. What is my story? Um, you want the long story or the short story?
Shoot, I'm all in.
All in. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I mean, the long story is I've been in real estate what seems like forever. It's been over 35 years. And I started basically working with real estate settlement attorneys, and then we had our own mortgage company after that. And then I was actually looking at the mortgages, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to be a full time realtor. So I became a full time realtor in 2003 and loved it. Was very successful. And then I think it was 2005, 2006, my son decided to sign up for the Army
Oh,
and
wow.
was shortly after that deployed to Iraq while Saddam Hussein was still alive. And my whole world turned upside down, basically. It was the most horrible experience I had in my entire life. I mean, but, and then my business slowly, I got really sick. Um, and I was actually out for about 3 years with Lyme's disease.
Wow.
So, yeah, I believe that stress causes everything. Stress in our life, basically, we can have things in our bodies. Basically, and our bodies are made to actually, help us mend and heal. But if there's stress that's part of the factor, then really everything just, falls apart with us as far as our body is concerned. Can't handle that stress, right?
Oh,
So with
for
him
sure.
being, yeah, in the army, it just like, threw my world, upside down. And he
Oh, for sure.
actually was 5 different tours, Afghanistan, Iraq, and all that. He's still in the army.
Wow.
Great guy. Love him to death. He's an amazing soul. Definitely amazing
Oh,
soul.
for
He
sure.
loves
He's
what he does.
serving the country.
Yeah, yeah, he loves what he does. And then yeah, I slowly got back into real estate in 2011 when I got better. And then my mom came out with dementia, and
Wow.
so, yeah, and I'm an only child, so I had to take care of my mom who had dementia. And so I scaled back again on the real estate because real estate in itself, it's very rewarding. It's great, but it's also very stressful because the real estate is the biggest transaction, one of the biggest transaction that one will make in a lifetime, right? And so you have to give it that attention to the buyer or the seller 100% of your time, your effort, everything. And we're not just realtors. Sometimes we're marriage counselors and, psychiatrists and all that kind of stuff trying to go through transactions with people if they're in a divorce situation or whatever it is. So
Mhm.
the stress of it, I just like scale back again. And then I had this awesome idea to do videos. Um, it was back in, I want to say 2018, where I was like, you know what? Washington, D.C., we have so much great real estate and properties in this area. Why not focus this area? We've got, and so that's when I started doing videos with realtors in a small studio. And I was doing live Facebook and live YouTube. It was scary as scary can be because it was just like, I would just like try to, talk myself as I'm driving to the studio because I'd never done anything like that before, you know.
Wow, that's really going out of your comfort zone to share your story and their story. Wow.
Yeah, way out of my comfort zone, way, and I did it every Wednesday, and I was like, oh my gosh, another Wednesday coming up. So I interviewed realtors and home inspectors and lenders and things like that, and it was live on YouTube. It was just, I can't believe I went through that, but I did it.
Wow.
And to make a long story short, here I am now, doing these videos, and I love what I'm doing because it gives me an opportunity to share other people, not myself. It's not about me. It's about them, and I love telling other people's stories. So this is different for me because I'm sitting here telling my story.
Yeah, you're telling your story, which, before I'll keep on, I'll say that, it's beautiful the fact that you could just hear the care and the love that you have for your son and for your mother. You could just hear it. And it's amazing. So I'm sure that they're lucky to have you in their life. And by the way, they're sharing their story. They give value to you. You share other people's stories. You give other people value. And I think what you said now and then is really beautiful because when you come to share your story, Pamela, so when you go and create a connection with a human being, especially in business, you share usually your story. And that's
Yeah.
usually what creates the value for a transaction because there's some type of connection. And then when they share their story, on on your platforms, they think, okay, we're just sharing our story, but like your story gave value to them, their story will give value to someone else, and you never know where that would end. So I think that's amazing. Is there anything specific that you have learned? I'm sure there are a lot, but like from sharing this story, what value did it bring to the people themselves?
I think life comes at us, right? And I think basically being able to be resilient and as you're going through different things in life, just not giving up. I think that's so important to not give up, go through it, learn from the experiences that you go through as you're going through it. There's always something to learn in every situation that we're going through in life, right? And whether it's something that's going to take us on the right track, or something that's going to take us, if we were on the wrong track, to go on the right track. Maybe we need to go down the wrong track so we can learn something, right? So I mean, I think learning people's stories and being able to get from them what their experiences are, and I so love what you said, is like your story can help someone else and their story can help someone else, and then it can go on, because someone heard from someone else's story as a realtor, maybe a challenge they had, and another realtor is going through the same challenge, right? And that helps them. So I think the biggest thing is a lot of times is getting out of our heads, right? And saying, basically not thinking, you know, about us, and thinking about who we can help and who we can serve, if that makes sense. And a lot of my beginnings with all of this is worrying about how I was going to look on camera and what I was going to sound like, right? And it's like the mistakes I'm going to make and all these things. And at the end of the day, I think it's like, do it messy and get it out there. People would resonate with you, and
Mm.
see the transparency.
Nice, nice. I love that. I love a lot of things that you said, and there are a few like hidden messages over there. Well, first, what you said, I'll start from the end, just for the memory. But it's the fact that sometimes we think it needs to be perfect, and only then we can share our story, whether it's real estate, whether it's business, whatever it is. I think that's the problem. And I'm included in that problem, okay? Because okay, we
Yeah.
say now when it's perfect, so people will resonate. But no, you just now said something beautiful, Pamela. People will resonate when it's something real. If you're coming and you're just staging your story and putting like everything in the place, which is not really the right place, but like you're making the show out of it, and it's not the real
Right.
story. People won't resonate, right?
Right. Right.
So I think that's beautiful, and also has to go back to what you said. Sometimes we think we're going on the wrong track in life because, as you know, your son went to Iraq all of a sudden, and Saddam Hussein that time was crazy, and as a mother, you might think, well, like, is this really happening to me? Like my son, like it's crazy, but
Yeah.
I think in those wrong tracks, that's over there the beauty of the story is if we learn the lesson. So in any wrong track in life, when we share that, like you said beautifully before, also gives value for ourselves, by the way. Because when we share something in an honest way, not in fake, so
Yeah.
helps us sometimes understand. Wow, I just now said that. Now I understand maybe a different message that I had to learn also for other people.
Right.
So I think that's beautiful. But I wonder why did you decide, like you share now about the people you work with and what you do today, and why do you still today think that sharing other people's story is so valuable when they could just they could do it on their own? Like you're a platform for them, but why do you think that you're valuable for them to share it?
I think it's so much easier for us to actually talk with someone, like I'm doing interview style, like you're doing interview style, as opposed to people. There are a lot of people that get the camera and they're comfortable and they're dancing on TikTok and doing this and doing that, and getting the views that way. But I think people's stories are so important, and in doing it this way, like you're sharing that other person, right? They're not talking about themselves, because I think it's much harder for us. Like if I get a camera in front of me and I'm going to talk about myself, it's difficult. It's very difficult for me. I'll sit there and push the delete button and push the delete button, and I'm like, I don't like it. But if I'm sitting here talking to you and want to hear more about you and your story, it makes it easier. I want to say it makes it more comfortable. More comfortable in that way. So I think it's important to share stories, get experiences. Hopefully, I'm answering your question.
No, you are, and you also made a really important point over here that they're sharing it with you, right? Because they're feeling comfortable with you. Don't I'll say this way. I don't think we should go and share a story with everyone. And you said something right. Share, you're in this case, you're the professional or you're the caregiver or you're something like share with someone that you appreciate, because only then it would give you value and it will also give other people value. Otherwise, if we share with people that don't care, so they might just try to crush us. And I'm not saying we should care, but we human beings, we usually do. So thank you for making that point, that actually sharing it with someone like you that really cares about that story. So that's really important. And I'm also wondering, many times I could also say about myself, like it's easy not to talk here and say, hey, let's share the story. But there are times that it's hard to share this story. There are all kind of blockages that come up, and like, okay, maybe I shouldn't. What did you realize from all of your experience and all the people that you've interviewed and you shared their story and helped them brand? What are like the main blocks when it comes for people building their brand and sharing their story?
I think the biggest block with people is themselves and their mindset, and not knowing and not thinking that they can actually do it, right? When we have that mindset in us, and mindset is huge, I think. We tell ourselves we can or we can't do something, whether we can. If we tell ourselves we can, we will, right? If we tell ourselves we can't, then we don't do it. But I think people don't realize their actual value in themselves and knowing how valuable they are and their story is. So believing in themselves, I think that's one of the biggest challenges for a lot of
Oh,
people is mindset.
wow. That it's interesting because I'm sure if you would ask, right, Pamela, if you would ask those people, is your mindset your blockage? Is that blocking you? They'll probably say no, A, B, C, D. No, they'll mention all those other things right outside. But you're saying that they're the one that are actually blocking themselves, and we're all in the same story. So how do you help them get over that? if it's something that belongs to them.
Ah, that's a good point. And there's so many things that you can actually do as far as mindset. I'm a huge believer in affirmations. I was coaching years ago with Bob Proctor. I don't know if you know Bob Proctor.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Passed
yeah,
away.
they moved him back. Yeah, and he was an incredible man, very amazing. I had the opportunity to go to the Last Matrix in Canada with him, and we
Wow.
actually got to go to his home. It was incredible. He spent so much time with us. But that's where I learned affirmations and telling yourself, and when you tell yourself, I am confident. Whatever comes after I am is basically what you believe, right? And so
Hi, I hope this video is serving you. I just want to share with you that my belief in life is that you are here to serve a purpose greater than yourself. But in order to do that the best way, you must start with investing in yourself. Enjoy the rest of the video.
all day long listening to yourself and what you're actually telling yourself in your mind and trying to catch those thoughts as they come to you and switching it around if it's negative right away into something that's positive is so important. And so, that's what I've learned. It's like, yes, we are actually programmed from, way back when we were little, as babies coming through. And we could have heard lots of negative things, right, about us. And it's ingrained in here. But being able to turn that around and doing the affirmations, writing down daily. That's one of my biggest things is I journal in the morning when I wake up. I have my Dear God book, and so I write a letter to God every morning, what I'm grateful for, and then I
Love it.
do my journal and my affirmations after that, and then I read my Bible after that, and so that's yeah my morning every morning.
I
So
love
I
that.
sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 sorry. I love that morning ritual. We have a lot of things in common over there. So it's really beautiful what you said about. Yeah, I have a few things coming up to mind, but I'll focus right now. So you said that saying affirmations of I am. My question is, I
Yeah.
right now have a blockage. Like, why would I want to tell myself I am? Like, why? If someone now has something that is stopping them, their negative beliefs, would really you do think it would really help them saying, let's say they believe that they can't exercise. So no, no, I am healthy, I'm fit. Like, do you really think that works?
I think the thing about it, yeah, again, it goes back to mindset because if you say it and you don't believe it, then obviously it's not going to work, right? So you have to get to a point basically where you actually believe it. And does it make sense for you to actually say it over and over until you believe it? I think so. I think so. You have to change that programming as much as you can. So, yes, it's already in there, but you're at the point now where you're saying it and you still don't believe it, but keep saying it until you believe it. I am confident, and maybe you're not confident, but you just keep saying it over and over, and sooner or later it's going to click. It takes years of negative thinking, basically. If we've had all that in us and we've been telling ourselves that for so many years, it's not going to happen instantly for us, right? When we say I am and expect it's like it, I've been doing it for a week and I still don't believe I'm confident. Well, you've been telling yourself for years, the negative part of that. So now it's not going to happen in a week, but you just got to keep doing it until it does happen. And all of a sudden it's going to click and you're going to go, wow, I'm a new me.
Wow, beautiful. Well, you're seeing with all, I think already thousands of people that you help. And I think what's so nice about it is that also if you don't believe the big picture, so let's say if it's I'm going to buy I'm buying a house or I'm fit, I think there's something you could do. David Goggins, I'm also ex-military. Your son is still there, but I was also
Oh,
there
yeah.
serving, and also David Goggins was there, and he speaks. He was in the Navy SEALs. He speaks a lot about the cookie jar, and that
Mm.
means so basically taking those times that you have succeeded. So if someone, and you could correct me, like if you think different, I would love to hear. But what I think, if someone has trouble in thinking I am whatever it is, so if let's say let's go back to fitness or because we were there, but if right now I'm not doing any exercise, so don't think about myself as a marathon runner. And because
Hmm.
to believe that would be hard, but can I believe, okay, I am doing exercise and then just go for a walk for 5 minutes. So build the belief in something that has to do with that big picture. It would be much
Hmm.
easier to put your mindset in, okay, that's who I am.
Hmm.
In those small, like in 100% belief, but it's something small from that big picture. So I think
Right.
putting there in your mind is amazing. And I think, well, I don't know if amazing, but it's hard. It's hard and amazing because at the beginning we don't want to do it. And one other thing that we might have spoke about last time that we spoke about Byron Katie also when you have negative thoughts. Are you familiar with her?
No, no, no.
Oh, you have to look her up. You must look her up, Byron
Okay.
Katie. Must.
Okay.
So I'll just say it fast because I want to ask you a few more questions. But she basically her main philosophy is when you have a negative thought, so detach from it. So what we should do is we ask ourselves, is the thought real? And usually the answer, you never know it's real. You can never know 100%. And then if we still say yes, so we ask, is it 100% real? So am I 100% not fit? I don't know. Like I can't say that as 100% because maybe now if someone puts me in a certain situation, I am. And then, okay, so what does that thought bring to me? The fact that I think that I'm not fit, what does it cause me? What feeling? And then I take the opposite. Okay, so how am I when I don't have that thought? And then whatever, I won't go through the whole process, but you must read her books. I think you love her, but you're a student of Bob Proctor. I think
Yeah.
actually they're also friends. You would love her. She's great. Regarding Bob Proctor, what's like he's he's not alive, like his spirit's still here, but the value that he brought to this world is amazing. Can you share a few of like the main lessons you learned from him? It sounds like you went to his house, you went to the seminars. I would love to hear.
His big thing is the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill,
For sure.
right?
I have it
And
right
he
there.
carried yeah, you've read it?
Yeah, it's here on my desk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he carried that book around. I've got a 1 o'clock Zoom that I've got to get to, but
All good.
but yeah, he carried that book around with him everywhere he went, and his big thing was basically affirmations was huge to him. I am so happy and grateful that. I am so happy and grateful that, and the word grateful in there. Grateful is one of those magic things basically. If you're not grateful for your situation, whatever situation you're in, there's always something to be grateful for, right? You sometimes you have to look harder to find it, but it's there. If you're in a situation where it's a difficult situation, if you look harder, you'll find it. But being grateful for where you are will take you to where you need to be. But you have to be grateful. And grateful is one of the biggest things that he taught us was like, I am so happy and grateful that I now, whatever. That you continue on with the statement after that. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm confident and I believe in myself, and just
Wow.
keep going. Everything that you bring in, I'm so happy and grateful now that. I'm so happy and grateful now that.
Wow.
So,
Amazing, amazing. I know, Pamela, that you need to go for a meeting, but I think whoever watches should watch this again and just, take the mindset part, sharing your story. Anyone can do it. We're the main people that are blocking ourselves, like we said, and be grateful for what we have. Each one of us has so much of beauty in them. And through
yeah,
sharing our story, we could see it ourselves and share with other people and help more and more people. So thank you
yeah.
for sharing your story. Thank you for being a beautiful human being and helping other people. I really appreciate you for that.
Well,
And
thank you.
hope to connect soon.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on. I greatly appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed the video and you got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. For us to help other people, please press that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that the most amazing things in life are the one you take for granted.